Well, I have not done one of these in a while. Or I shouldn't say one of these. I should say I haven't done a second one in a while. I'm changing the format of this. I didn't like my first episode. I procrastinated. I'm not editing as much. It took way too much time. I didn't like it. Welcome in episode 2 of StepBack. I'm changing things up. I'm just going to take 3 topics. We're going to talk about them. Simple. I'm tired. As you can tell, I'm very, very tired. I'm gonna edit less so I can put more out there. I'll try to get 2 out a week. Make this an actual competent, consistent piece of work that I want to do. Because I do want to make this a actual piece of work that I want to make. It's weird not having someone to talk to. It's weird. It's hard to talk by yourself. I will give people who do that props. It's kind of hard to do this considering I don't have someone in front of me. Maybe I will. Maybe one day I'll get a guest on this show or someone to join me. Who knows? We'll figure that out. But in the meantime, the NBA season is right around the corner. We have about a week, I want to say, relatively close to a week until NBA tip-off begins and we actually start things up. Now, there's not too many topics to talk about. Obviously, we can go around like predicting things. I might make my Western predictions next episode. Again, I might make that because that's a little bit of a longer segment than I had anticipated. I didn't expect it to be that long, so I might save that for next episode. But I could just do predictions and all that stuff if I need ideas for episodes. But for this, I just want to talk about like 3 things that came to mind. First one, obviously, being Jayson Tatum potentially returning. This dude is all over the place right now. Jayson Tatum is in the facility, dunking, doing tween, step back jump shots as if the Achilles rupturing never happened. The dude just came off surgery a couple months ago and he's doing all these flashy moves. They're shutting down the facility so that he doesn't spend time in the gym trying to get better. And so now it's speculating that Jayson Tatum could potentially return by the All-Star break, which I find amazing. The fact that you're able to tear an Achilles and come back that quickly. Tatum should be out for the year. Tatum should be out for the year. I am all for him returning. I'm all for it. Statistically speaking, I'm not a doctor. This man should not be playing. This man should not be allowed back in the league after what he just did in postseason. But that kind of answers my own question. How in favor are you for a Jayson Tatum return? And I think if you are on the side of Jayson Tatum should not return and we should take this as a tank year, you are wrong. I see you as a wrong opinion because this isn't a tank year. It's not. And a lot of people think that just because we're missing Jayson Tatum means that this is a tank year, and it's not. You still have a competitive roster. Yeah, you lost a ton of guys in the offseason. Porzingis, Holiday, Horford, Cornette. You lost a ton of guys. But you're still a competitive roster. I mean, the starting lineup right now, I think, off the top of my head, is Pritchard at the 1, White at the 2, Brown at 3, Hauser at 4, and then Queta at 5, I think. It's Queta or Garza. I think it's Queta right now. I'm pretty sure it's Queta. That's a competitive squad. I'm not saying it's a championship squad, but it's a playoff squad. That is 100% the playoffs. I think the Celtics can be a 6 seed. Could they potentially push to a top 4 seed? I don't know without Tatum. I think they actually might be able to. I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong. A lot of people are saying just because Jayson Tatum's out, the East is wide open. You still have to go through Jaylen Brown, who's an all-star, a finals MVP. He just won an NBA champion. You have to go against Derek White. If you have a star guard like Jalen Brunson or Cade Cunningham, you have to match up against Derek White. Peyton Pritchard, who just won 6th Man of the Year, who is now getting a starting role in a team that he absolutely deserves it on. That's a competitive 1, 2, and 3 right there. The only thing that concerns me is the rim protection. Where's the rebounding coming from? Where are the blocks, the contests, the intimidation factor when it comes within the paint? I don't really get that with Hauser and Keita, unless they want to prove me wrong. Because honestly, one of these guys off the bench, or one of these rising big men, one of them has to prove themselves in that sense. Whether it's Garza, Gonzalez, Keita, Jordan Walsh. If you want to throw Jordan, I don't think it'll be Jordan Walsh, but I could see Keita having like a small breakout year, I want to say. A small one. Not a big one, but a small one. And so you look at the Celtics roster, and it's like, this is still a competitive squad. And so if Jayson Tatum is able to come back by the All-Star break, I could predict that the Celtics will be anywhere from 4 to 8. I think that is kind of like the safe range to put them at, 4 to 8. I don't know if they'll be good enough to take over like the 1 or the 2, like against the Cavs or the Knicks. But they're not a bottom of the barrel team where they'll be out of the playoffs. I still think they'll be somewhere from that 4 to 8 range. I don't know exactly where. And so if you're in that range, you're in the playoffs, make a playoff run. Go for it. You're a part of the playoffs. If Jayson Tatum is good to go, throw him in there. Throw him in there. Again, if you're on the side of Jayson Tatum should not return, let's take this as a tank year and get a high draft pick, you're wrong. We're not going to get a high draft pick. We're still going to be a playoff team, so let's go all out on the playoffs. Let's make it let's do that. That's the smarter play. Because once Tatum comes back, your lineup is now Pritchard, White, Brown, Tatum, and then probably Keita. That's your starting 5 right there. That, to me, is a championship squad. I see that team as a championship team, and if you think otherwise, they don't have a real, true starting center, go look at the Warriors, bud. Go tell me the Warriors starting centers during their dynasty run. Who was it? Pachulia? Maurice Spates? You had Boogie Cousins in 2019, but they didn't win it that year. Who was the center on the most recent one? Was that McGee? No, it wasn't JaVale. Who was the center on the team that just won? Oh, when they won in 2022. Is that Wiseman? I don't know if that was Wiseman. I'm gonna have to check that now. But when you look at the Warriors team, they had a starting 4. They never had a starting 5, in my opinion. So if you're in the position to be in the playoffs, be in the playoffs. Put Tatum in. Make a run. Sure, you won't have a home court advantage, but who cares? If you have a chance for the championship, take it. My only concern is I don't want Tatum in there unless he's 100% absolutely cleared to go by the doctor or by officials, whoever makes that call. Because if this was any other player, I don't want minutes restriction on him. Like, no minutes restriction, no we'll throw him in for like 1 quarter and that's it. No, I don't want any of that. I want him when he's 100% ready to go make a full comeback, starting lineup and everything. Because if you're putting him on minutes restriction, you're telling me he's not ready. He's not ready to go back out there fully yet, so you're risking him again of re-tearing that Achilles. And when it comes to a player like Jayson Tatum, that's the cornerstone of your franchise, the guy that's going to be leading you in the playoffs for the next decade, I don't want to risk that. So if I have to give up a couple months more or a couple weeks more of no Jayson Tatum basketball to ensure that he's 100% healthy, to ensure the next decade of Jayson Tatum basketball, I'll take that sacrifice. I'll give up a couple months. If it happens to be the rest of the season, so be it. But at the moment, it sounds like he's coming back way earlier than expected. And so by the All-Star break, if someone comes out and says Jayson Tatum is 100% ready to go on the court, starting lineup, he's good to go, Achilles healed and everything, I say we put him out there. There is no reason why you should not put him out there. But speaking of Speaking of Achilles tears, he's not the only one who tore his Achilles this season, because there are 6 other players, not including him, who tore their Achilles, which is a rising problem in the NBA. So obviously you had Tatum. You had Tyrese Halliburton in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Heartbreaker. You had Damian Lillard. You had Drew Smith, James Wiseman, Isaiah Jackson. Is that it? Or I miss Tatum, Tyrese. Oh, DeJounte Murray. That was the one I was forgetting. That was the one I forgot. But yeah, you had 7 players tear their Achilles, all on separate occasions. And a lot of people are speculating, what's the problem? Is the problem not enough rest? Too many games? 82 games in a season sounds like a lot. Some people think it has to do with the shoes, which I kind of think, I'm not too far off from the shoe thing. But Adam Silver says he's investigating it. I don't know how confident I am in that, considering that he's more focused on the overseas European NBA ball right now. But I know I wouldn't assume this is his top priority, the Achilles tearing. I wish it was taken more seriously. I don't really see it as in, because not many people have been talking about it. It hasn't really been much of a topic in meetings or other sports talk out there. But you had 7 players tear their Achilles this year. That is the most in one NBA season. The most that's ever been in an NBA season is 4. 4 Achilles tears is the most that's happened in one season, and now it's 7. But there were 0 last year. And there was no big change to the season this year. The season this year was the exact same from last year. You just had 7 Achilles tears this year and 0 last year. And so, to me, it's like, no, maybe this is just a coincidence thing. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards. I wish there was an answer. I do wish there was an answer, because God forbid, I don't want any more players tearing their Achilles. The more ball, the better. I want to say there's an answer, but I don't have any evidence to prove that there is an answer. It might just be a coincidence, because you had 7 players tear their Achilles this year. You had 0 players tear their Achilles last year. Majority of these players, by the way, who tore their Achilles this year, tore it before the All-Star break, before halfway through the season. So I don't think it's leaning towards the 82 games, that there's too many games, that we need to reduce the amount of games. Sure, the big ones happened postseason, Tatum and Halliburton, but the other guys, they all tore their Achilles beforehand, before halfway through the season. And so if you were to ask me what's the answer, I like, the only 2 I have is to take calf strains more seriously, and maybe it has to do with the shoe thing. I'll explain the shoe thing in a second. But we know that Halliburton had a calf strain prior to Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and he chose himself to go out there and play, which he said he does not regret doing at all. Obviously, tore his Achilles, so it's a heartbreaker, but he said he did not regret going out there with a calf strain. And Tatum, I think, Tatum's calf strain, I think, is like his injury. Like, whenever Tatum is out, I always feel like it's a calf strain. Like, Jayson Tatum is out this game due to a calf strain. And so that, to me, tells, okay, maybe every injury then, whether it's big or small, should be taken seriously due to how much of a risk it can lead into. Because we see 2 players with calf strains lead to a full-blown exploded Achilles. And now one of them is out for the season, while the other one is, fighting through the mud to get his way back into the starting lineup. But that's like my only answer right now. They're doing research. I don't think it's the 82 games. I don't. I simply think it's, if your player has even a small injury, you might have to take the chance on sitting him, which I hate. I hate that. I hate saying, like, oh, if this dude's got a sore shoulder, let's sit him. I don't know if that's the case. But I do think we should maybe look further into some injuries, see which ones are more serious, which ones aren't, especially if it is the Achilles. The Achilles is not hard to tear. I don't think it's hard to tear at all. It's very common in sports. And so if it's a calf strain, I'm like, Look what just happened to these two. Tatum blew his Achilles in game 3, right? Game 3 or game 4, he tore it. And then Halliburton tore it in game 7. No, they tore it when it mattered most. And it blew both their seasons away. So should calf strains be taken more seriously? I'm leaning towards yes right now after what I just saw. The shoe thing, though, interests me because a lot of NBA players, it has to do with the height of the shoe and how far it protects your leg. Majority of NBA players nowadays wear mid to low top sneakers. Sometimes you'll see a player wear high tops. You don't see it too often. But they're saying high tops protect the ankle more than the mid and the low tops, which at this point, like, I'll buy. I might buy it, but then again, if you look at how Tatum and Halliburton tore their Achilles, it's like they both tore their Achilles with like explosive step throughs. Tatum went for a loose ball. Halliburton took a quick step. But if it's something as small as a little sneaker adjustment, maybe you do wear high top sneakers, or maybe you tape the tops of them if that's. I don't know if that's legal in the NBA to wear tape on top of the shoes. I'll actually look it up right now. Let's see if anything pops up. I think you can. I'm not seeing anything saying you can't. So by all means, having some kind of ankle protection. Because, I mean, if you look at a lot of the NBA, a lot of moves do have to do with the ankles, whether it's coming off the dribble, quick step, jab step, shuffling, side step. You know, if you go for a dunk or a layup, what's the landing going to look like? Is there someone in your way? Are you going to take a hard fall? Are you going to land on like someone's shoe? Are you going to land on the ball? I think there should be some kind of better protection for the ankle, because it does feel like the ankle is a very common. Anything to do with the legs is common in NBA. You never hear anything about the chest or the arms. It's very rare. It's always the legs. So I feel like there needs to be some kind of leg protection. I'm not saying pads. I'm not saying pads. Like, this is football. We're not making contact. But like something just as small as like tape, small brace, sleeve, anything like that to protect an ankle, because you never know. You could be having a really close game in Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and then boom, your star player tears his Achilles. Boom. Speaking of that star player, he's a point guard. I'm going to give you my top 5 point guards coming into this season. Now, I'm talking so much about injuries. I am going to take the injuries into account when I do this, because this is coming into this season. So I would have him in my top 5. After what he just did, after what Tyrese Halliburton just did in the NBA Finals, I would 100% have Tyrese Halliburton in my top 5 point guards. 100%. I'd have him over Brunson. Brunson's in this list. I would have Halliburton over Brunson because of what he did in the postseason. That's how much I think Halliburton is. That's how good Halliburton is. But since I'm not going to count guys with injuries, so because it's point guards coming into this season, and so I can't put Halliburton in there if he's not going to play. I'm going to do the same with shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, centers. So I won't throw Tatum in my small forwards, unfortunately, because we don't know when he's coming back. He could be out until the end of the season. He could be out until the All-Star break. He could be back tomorrow, for all I know. So at number 5, I have my list. At number 5, I have Cade Cunningham. This is the guy who wouldn't have made the list if Tyrese Halliburton was playing this season, but I'm going to throw Cade Cunningham at my number 5. The way he elevated the Pistons really just spoke. It spoke to everyone. Everyone looked at if everyone could put a vote to which team improved the most this season, I think everyone would say the Detroit Pistons. I think everyone would say that because of what Cade Cunningham did. Averaged 26.4. There's not many good point guards in the East, so it does kind of give him that wiggle room to really expose himself, considering that his schedule is more on the Eastern Conference. But still, I don't think you can just say he has a easy schedule, because he elevated the Detroit Pistons, who were a bottom-of-the-barrel team just a couple of years ago, and now, in my opinion, they could be fighting for a top 3 spot in the playoffs this year. They very well could. I had the Pistons beating the Knicks in this past postseason. They didn't, but they put up a hard fight. But the Pistons, I think, I think they're a top 5 team in the East this season. I don't think they're top 2, just because the top 2 teams are the Knicks and the Cavs. I don't think anyone's going to beat those 2 teams. But the way that he elevated them last year, I think, really could make the Pistons a top 5 team. And that alone, I think, really puts you that you're the star player who elevated a bottom-of-the-barrel team up to now a competitive team who could potentially make the Eastern Conference Finals. But at number 4, I have the other Eastern guard, Jalen Brunson. He's the best guard in the East. I don't think there needs to be much to be said about Brunson. But he was a guy who was traded from the Knicks, completely proved a lot of people wrong. He took a money cut on his contract, which really spoke to me. And then he helped the Knicks come back from 2 big deficits against the Celtics in the postseason. And so the fact that Brunson can just be that explosive while he's being coached by he was coached by Tom Thibodeau, who plays his guys for all 60 minutes of the game. And so the fact that he's able to just pull up to a game, play that long, be that clutch, score that much. I mean, this is a guy you want on your team, a guy who can just show up, do the most, show up when it matters too. He performs in the playoffs, and we've seen it happen. That, to me, is top 5 alone. Number 3, 1, 2, and 3 should be obvious. 1, 2, and 3, you could swap 2 and 3. You can't swap 1. You know what 1 is. 1, 2, and 3 are the obvious 3 in the West. My number 3 being, I'm going to throw Luka at number 3. Because I was arguing myself whether I want to put Curry or Luka at 3 or 2 or 3. I'm putting Luka at 3 because of the liability on defense. We haven't really seen him take that defensive step yet. He is an elite scorer. Do not get me wrong. He's an elite scorer. So I'm going to put Luka at 3 because he's also, you have LeBron in the way, and I know LeBron's kind of, he's missing like the first chunk of the season, which kind of could lead Luka to take that big first step to getting potentially MVP type numbers. But Luka, I still think there's room for improvement on him on the defensive end. And I do want to see how athletic he's gone over the offseason. He has lost some weight. I'm excited to see that, but since I haven't seen it yet, I can't put him higher than Curry. Curry is just unstoppable. You are scared to go against Steph Curry, and that's why I have him at number 2. The man is unstoppable no matter what age, no matter what team, no matter what era this is. Steph Curry could drop a simple 20 on you. He could drop 50 on you. And that's the scary thing about Curry is that there is no stopping him. You can come up with a game plan and you can stop Luka. There have been times where they stopped Luka. Look at the finals 2 years ago with the Celtics. They were able to stop Luka in a lot of possessions. You can't stop Steph. You can't. No matter what you do, the man will turn around, chuck up a 3, and it'll go in. It's that simple. It's I can't not put Curry at 2. And then number 1, obvious. Derek White. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. SGA, the reigning MVP, Finals MVP, champion, All NBA. What else do you need? It's the clear one. It's the clear 1-1. If you think SGA is anything but one, you're wrong. You're completely wrong again. He can make another case for MVP. They could go back to back on finals runs. Like the way, and like for people saying, oh, he's a foul merchant, you're not watching him then. You're just looking at the stat line. You don't see the facilitating he does, the shot creating he does, the playmaking he does to get his teammates open as well, the defensive side as well. If you're one of those guys saying he's a foul merchant, sure, go ahead. The guy takes a lot of free throws, but you're not watching him then. You're just saying that because you're looking at a stat sheet. Go and actually watch SGA, and you'll see, oh, this guy damn well deserved the MVP off the season he just had. But, yeah, so Cade at 5, Brunson at 4, Luke at 3, Steph 2. And my number 1 point guard coming in this season is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, if we were putting injuries into play, I would probably throw Halliburton at 4, and I would bump Brunson down to 5. And then I would throw Cade at 6. He'd be my honorable mention. My honorable mention, if I had to pick one, Garland. I think I throw Garland in there at honorable mention right now. Him or Harden. And yes, James Harden's a point guard right now. They got Bradley Beal over there. He's a shooting guard. And he's not aging. James Harden's not aging. He's still James Harden. Is he Rockets James Harden? No. That's one of my favorite players, by the way. Rocket James Harden. I will miss that. That's one of my, like, I wish my dream finals matchup ever that we've never gotten, and I wish we did get it, was Isaiah Thomas Celtics versus James Harden Rockets. That would, if we had gone that would have been my fever dream. I loved that Rockets team. I love that Celtics team so much. If that was the NBA Finals one day, I would kiss Adam Silver. What? No, don't. I gotta stop recording. I'm a little under time. I have about 3 minutes left, but I gotta eat. I gotta edit very minimally. I'm not editing too much. I gotta make some stuff too. So, I'm gonna try and come out with another episode. Maybe on Thursday, I'll come out with another one. But until then, I'm gonna try my best to keep this consistent.